Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different, if it's possible to do something a little bit different when you've only got like, what, 5 videos? But yeah, I wanted to do something a little bit different for my usual type of content, and that is the Myers-Briggs personality type quiz. I've done it in the past, but I don't think I can remember what I got. And I thought it'd be interesting to take the test on camera and justify why I'm choosing the things that I'm choosing and why I think the way that I think. So yeah, hopefully this video is interesting. We shall see what you think. Okay, so I have the quiz here. It says it's fast and easy, takes less than 12 minutes. It asks you to be yourself and answer honestly even if you don't like the answer, and to complete it all and try not to leave any neutral answers. And yet they give neutral as an option for the answers. Okay. You enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people? Absolutely not. No. No. Right now, sat alone in my room, as I have been for the past 6 hours. Stunning. Your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas than a detailed itinerary. Absolutely not. No. I get really anxious about travelling, so I always plan it out really, like boom boom boom, like bus at this time, arrive at the airport at this time, flight at this time, arrive wherever at this time. I like lay it out so specifically because I get really anxious about it. So absolutely not just a rough list of ideas, I'm like planning it to the minute. People can rarely upset you. It sort of depends. Like, if people just make a passing comment, then sometimes I'm like, oh, that stung a bit, but they weren't intentionally trying to upset me, so I don't get upset about it. So probably, I can get upset. If you say the wrong thing, I will get upset, but not like strongly. People can, yeah, not strongly. It would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored. No, not at all. That would be my ideal weekend. Sorry. At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found farther away from the action. That's a trick question. I won't be found at parties. When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre and fantastical. No, that's not true, sadly. That would be really interesting, though. When at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. Yeah, that's probably true, unless they're like friends of a friend, so I get introduced to them there and then. I'm not just going to walk up to people and be like, what up? It's me. You usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. No, those are the best conversations. You would never let yourself cry in front of others. I try not to cry in front of others, but if I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna cry. Like, I don't care who's around me. If I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna cry, so. When it comes to making life-changing choices, you mostly listen to your heart rather than your head. Yeah. I think it's important to listen to your head and be logical with things, but then the heart wants what the heart wants, you know? Gotta go for it. Gotta be brave sometimes. The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. Yeah. Like, sometimes I feel that I've wasted my time when I've just been by myself all day, and sometimes I have really, like, enriching and enjoyable time spent with other people. So I wouldn't say, like, all the time. I'd much rather be by myself than with someone else, but most of the time. You rarely think back on the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently. No. No, I do that all the time. I'm such an overthinker about stuff like that. When you know someone thinks highly of you, you also wonder how long it will be until they become disappointed in you. No. Oh, that's really sad. No. No. Should I be thinking about that? You often contemplate... Shall we try that again? You often contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life. Oh yeah, all the time. And that makes for very interesting conversations with people as well. You have got detailed education or career development plans stretching several years into the future. Yeah, I always have, yeah. But then when I graduate from uni now, because I'm studying musical theatre, it's a bit of a difficult career to plan for, so I have ideas of what I'd like to do, but it's quite hard to plan for it in performing arts. Your emotions control you more than you control them. I'm sorry, there's a very unhappy child right outside my window. Cheer up, my love. You keep taking breaths and it keeps crying. Sorry, that's nasty. I'm not laughing at the child crying. I'm laughing at the timing of the child crying. After a long and exhausting week, a fun party is just what you need. Oh, no. After a long and exhausting week, my bed is exactly what I need. You rarely feel insecure. Disagree. I'm not like constantly insecure or anything, but like, I feel like everyone's quite aware of themselves and the things that they maybe don't like as much as they could do, so sure, a little bit insecure. Oh, that was the last page. See results. Click. Your personality type is advocate, INFJ or T. Oh my goodness. I'm 94% introverted. Yeah, I am. Yeah, that's not a surprise at all. I like this little drawing of this little advocate dude. Very snazzy. Very snazzy indeed. Oh wow, that's really informative actually. They've got a lot of information on there, I appreciate that for a free little personality quiz. The advocate personality type is very rare, making up less than 1% of the population. But they nonetheless leave their mark on the world. They tend to see helping others as their purpose in life, but while people with this personality type can be found engaging rescue efforts and doing charity work, their real passion is to get to the heart of the issue so that people need not be rescued at all. That's interesting. I never consciously realised that I think like that, but reading that I'm like, yeah, actually, I do think that. Why do we not solve the big issue? Why do we fix the symptoms instead of the illness, you know? Advocates indeed share a unique combination of traits. Though soft-spoken, they have very strong opinions and will fight tirelessly for an idea they believe in. Advocates find it easy to make connections with others and have a talent for warm, sensitive language, speaking in human terms rather than with pure logic and fact. It makes sense that their friends and colleagues will come to think of them as quiet, extroverted personality types, but they would do well to remember that advocates need time alone to decompress and recharge, and to not become too alarmed when they suddenly withdraw. Yeah, don't be alarmed if you don't see me for an entire week. I'm just chilling. Advocates take great care of others' feelings, and they expect the favour to be returned. Yeah, definitely. I believe that everyone is completely deserving of my respect until they don't deserve it anymore, you know? If you constantly talk down to me, if you insult me or whatever, then why should I speak to you with respect? But I'm never going to go into an interaction with someone and be like, I'm going to be really rude to you. So yeah, that's definitely true. Really though, it is most important for people with the advocate personality type to remember to take care of themselves. The passion of their convictions is perfectly capable of carrying them past their breaking point, and if their zeal gets out of hand, they can find themselves exhausted, unhealthy and stressed. That literally happened to me a couple of months ago. Oh, I burnt out hard. This becomes especially apparent when advocates find themselves up against conflict and criticism. Their sensitivity forces these personalities to do everything they can to evade these seemingly personal attacks, But when the circumstances are unavoidable, I feel attacked by that word. But when the circumstances are unavoidable, they can fight back in highly irrational, unhelpful ways. Personally, I think I take criticism quite well. And I appreciate criticism. It depends how it's given. If you're rude and you're just criticising for the sake of criticising, then why should I listen to that? But if you see something that could improve something I'm doing, then tell me and I appreciate it, you know? So I personally don't align with that little paragraph quite as much, but to advocates, the world is a place full of Why can't I speak? To advocates, the world is a place full of inequity, but it doesn't have to be. No other personality type is better suited to create a movement to right a wrong, no matter how big or small. Advocates just need to remember that while they're busy taking care of the world, they need to take care of themselves too. If you saw my bullet journaling video, then you'll see that quite a few of my goals and like habits and stuff that I want to improve on this month are specifically related to taking better care of myself and thinking about myself more than I do. So it's interesting that it mentions that I need to take better care of myself than I most likely do, because I've recognised that in myself. So when it comes to romantic relationships, advocates take the process of finding a partner seriously. Seriously. Not ones for casual encounters, people with the advocate personality type instead look for depth and meaning in their relationships. Yes, that is so true. I am sick to death of just casual dating being a thing. I'm sick of it. Why do we casually date? What is the point? Advocates will take the time necessary to find someone they truly connect with. Once they've found that someone, their relationships will reach a level of depth and sincerity that most people can only dream of. I dream of that too. I just want like a sincerely healthy relationship and not one of these like 14-year-old date for 2 weeks. I love him sort of. No. People with this personality type aren't easily talked into something they don't want, and if someone doesn't pick up on that, it's a trespass that is unlikely to be forgiven, particularly in the early stages of dating. Wow. That is really, really true. Like, if I perceive you to be even remotely pushy, I'm like, nah, you're not the one. You're just not the one for me if you're a pushy person. As parents, advocates, much as in their friendships, will tend to look at their relationships with their children as opportunities to learn and grow with someone they care about. While warm and compassionate throughout the parenting relationship, what advocates are really looking forward to is being able to communicate and relate to the person they help to raise as equals. See, that's a really interesting point, because I always think, like currently at this moment in time, I don't think that I want children, but then, and that's exactly why, rude. Yeah, I don't think I want children currently, but in the back of my mind I think it might be nice to adopt. But then when I think about adopting, I don't think about adopting a baby, I think about adopting, say, a teenager or an older child. And the reason for that is that we would have more effective communication, and I feel like I could be more there for someone when they're a little bit older than I could be for a baby. So it's interesting that it mentions about like communication and relating with people and wanting to be on more of an equal playing field than like the responsibility of looking after a teeny tiny human being. I'm just gonna have a nice big drink. Few personality types are as passionate and mysterious as advocates. Your imagination and empathy make you someone who not only cherishes their integrity and deeply held principles, but, unlike many other idealistic types, is also capable of turning those ideals into plans and executing them. Yet advocates can be easily tripped up in areas where their idealism and determination are more of a liability than an asset. Whether it is in navigating interpersonal conflicts, confronting unpleasant facts, pursuing self-realization, or finding a career path that aligns with your inner core, you may face numerous challenges that at times can even make you question who you really are. And that is the result of my personality quiz. I am an INFJ or an advocate. It was really interesting to read all the information that they presented about advocates. I think a lot of it was very accurate towards myself. So I'll leave a link in the description to that quiz that I did, because I think it's a really interesting one to take if you're interested in doing it yourself. So yeah, other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you maybe learnt something about me that you maybe didn't. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you have something to say, leave a comment. I'd be interested, if you do take the quiz, let me know what personality type you are in the comments, because it'd be interesting to see what the majority of my viewers happen to be. And yeah, if you want to see more content, probably not like this, because as I said at the beginning, this is a bit different for what I usually do, but just more content featuring moi, then subscribe. I'd be happy to have you around. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely day, and goodbye.